Living green or sustainably is about more than saving on your electric bill and doing your part to protect natural resources. It is about a safer and healthier life for you and your family without sacrificing style, quality, or budget. This is a movement to provide all of us with clean air to breathe and water to drink, safe, healthy food to eat and places to live, and energy to run the places where we live, learn, play, and work. The Everyday Green Home Podcast helps you get the value of green for you, your family, and your community. Whether it's green homes, green living, or the people who make it happen, join me, Marla Esser Close, to learn how green and sustainability practices and products work for you and our world. Welcome to the Everyday Green Home Podcast. This is Marla, the Green Home Coach, and I am so excited today to be sitting outside.
Right.
Socially distanced, of course. Well, we're almost outside.
Almost.
With Christy Howell of CRH Design Build.
Hey, everybody. How is everyone today?
Yeah, so last time we did a podcast together, because we have done one together previously. Mm-hmm. Your business had an interim name.
Yes.
Back then it was Align, and I think we did it about a year and a half ago?
At least, yeah. It's been at least a year and a half. That was a business transitioning phase of, just growth, learning what might fit, what would be non-confusing to the consumer as well. So I made a quick change, and CRH basically just stands for Christy Howell, which is my first name, maiden name, and last name. So Christy Howell Design Build.
Very good. And tell us a little bit about your company and what all you do.
Well, basically a lot of interior design for the first and foremost. That is where I received my bachelor's degree in fine arts. And from 2004 on, I've been doing a sheer amount of interior design assistance, either in new construction, remodels, staging homes for model homes, all sorts, everything under that umbrella. Mostly residential, some commercial. And so 2018-19 rolled around and I decided we've had my time to shine. And now I'm going to bring in some more structural and healthier ways to build and greener oriented ideas. I know transitioning into a green lifestyle can absolutely be just new. And when anything's new, it's change. And so it's not that it's hard or difficult. It's just new. And so
different.
Just new and different. So, which I think we've all are really going through now.
We are recording during the pandemic, although we are coming out of this phase.
Yeah. We are. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not gloomy. It can be positive, so we just need to...
Yeah. I talk to so many people that have really treasured the silver linings that have come out of this, and the time that people have had to return to simpler things, or hobbies, or time with their families, or cooking. I think, good grief, the whole world must be baking right now. I've even taken a few stabs at it. I'm not a baker.
Yes. I try to bake. I am a big baker, and I do like to cook.
Yes, you do.
Oh my gosh, these things, this whole pandemic, this whole situation, it's been very, just try to figure out how I can adapt it into what I was already trying to readapt my vision to.
Yeah. And from a green and sustainability perspective, those words have a lot of meaning to a lot of different people. But one of the things that both you and I have been so focused on has been the whole health and wellness aspect. And boy, has COVID made that a focal point.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
In more ways than you can even count on one hand anymore. Yeah. So it used to be like, being healthier is to do A, B, and C. Now it's like being healthier is not to just do A, B, and C, but it's also kind of watch out for everyone.
Right.
It's not just about our own selves. It's about everyone around us too.
And it did kind of feel like we're not as focused on the greater good before COVID came around. I hope that stays.
Yeah, I hope it's not a temporary, a situational adaptation.
Well, today we are sitting in the garage of your current project.
Yes.
Which is literally very cool. So fitting for our theme for the month of June, which is keep your cool.
Yes, I cannot wait to experience the cool factor that this house is going to provide in our hot summer months of July and August. And yeah, so where we're sitting in the garage, the house itself is built out of ICF, and ICF is Insulated Concrete Forms. And so that's kind of a building I fell in love with, or a structure I fell in love with and saw based on its just sheer impressiveness, from a wind factor, a tornado factor, a hurricane factor, just so many.
Yeah, the resiliency.
The resiliency. Thank you for helping with that word. Yeah, the resiliency alone was beyond mind-blowing. But then all of the other aspects of certification on a green level helped me accommodate that in steps to the process of the build, not just steps to the process of the build, but then what I like to provide as I like to sleep at night. And I like to know that my customers are also sleeping healthily in their homes or not worrying about something that's gone wrong on their home. So it's kind of help, they don't, typical house maintenance is typical house maintenance, but to have those problems year after year from just a structural issue, it's just frustrating over time.
Oh my gosh. And number one, the fact that what your clients think and feel and that weighs on you just testifies to the way you are building your business, and you have built your business. And you and I have worked together both from a home builders association perspective as well as a client relationship for the past couple of years. And that's one of the things that impressed me so much about working with you and made us a good fit, was that importance to you. But I wanted to circle back to the ICF thing because, you were talking about the cool factor in that it'll literally keep physically cool as well as warm. But we didn't get a chance to talk about why too much. And I just wanted to circle back around because there's so many benefits to this technology.
Yeah. Well, the cool factor, I guess, some people have called it the Lego house.
And it looks like
the people in the neighborhood. So ICF blocks are pretty much just large Lego blocks for adults. That's what I would like to say. Literally, they're about 4 foot wide, a foot tall, and a little over a foot tall, 16 inches tall. And they range anywhere from, their structural is about 2.5 inches of styrofoam with anywhere from 4 to 12 inches of concrete. And on the other side, interior or exterior side, is another 2.5 inches of styrofoam. So sorry, people visually. We're looking at a sandwich, an Oreo of styrofoam on either sides and concrete in the middle. And what I did on this house was 6 inches of concrete, and it's all the exterior walls. So the only walls that didn't get it were the garage walls. And that's just kind of for budgeting purposes.
Yeah, definitely. And this will help keep the house cleaner.
Yes.
Cooler and warmer in the proper season. It's going to be a better air-sealed home because everything is tighter.
The silence within the home that you just
don't hear all the noise.
You might not even know it's thundering outside. You definitely won't know it's raining from what I've heard from people who live in these homes. They legitimately have to walk outside and hear the rain, or they have to be told, hey, it's raining outside. Other things. Yeah, that just the quality factor. And I can't wait till I have my bulleted list of like powerhouse points of what this house is going to provide, because of right now, this is my somewhat sort of guinea pig project. It's my parents' house. So
pilot.
That's perfect. Thank you for that. That's so much better than, because it's like guinea pigs are so cute and little, and I'm like, and they leave guinea pig was not quite the right word. So yes, my pilot job. And so everything, I'm taking it a bit slower than I would take any other project in the future with this, just because I need to make sure I know what we're getting into, and there's a lot of planning.
And your clients are pretty special people for this project.
Yes, they are my parents.
Woo! You got a double whammy there, don't you?
Yeah, so building an ICF home, which is not a typical standard stick build, and then turning around and making your parents be your clients, I enjoy paying attention to details. Trust me, it's probably been one of my bigger, I would say at times, downfalls, because I pay attention to too many details at times. Others were going, no, thank you for giving me the details. And so that I keep taking on the details, but why know where I get it from? Holy moly.
Yes, I've gotten to know your parents as well. And they are great partners with you for this project.
They really are. Mom is definitely putting me on a level of, hey, what about this and what about that? And before I was like, oh, I know that. I think I know that. And then she just gives it to me in such a structural, eloquent way. And I'm like, what a great way to tackle another task that was, prior successful, or may have had Construction, I'm not going to say it's not rainbows and flowers.
It's hard work.
It is, you got grit, you'll be good. You got tenacity, you'll be great. If you've got drive, welcome to the world of success.
What a perfect place to take a break. Hang on, folks. We'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to dive in more about some of the things that really do make this home super cool. Hey, this is Marla Close, the Green Home Coach, and I am the author of Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices for a Better Home. And in this book, besides talking about a bunch of stuff about green and sustainability products and practices you can easily take in your home, also talk about home maintenance and how important this is to having a home that serves you rather than you serving it. Seasonal home maintenance checklists are a big part of this, and I teamed up with colleague Tina Gleisner from Home Tips for Women to use her maintenance checklist, actually included in the book, starting on page 96. And if you have the book, look them up. But I wanted to give you a brief excerpt from the book to get you excited about why home maintenance checklists, I know that doesn't sound very exciting, but why they are so important. So, maintaining a home is actually a 3-part ongoing process: inspect, maintain, and update. To help you keep track of what you've done and plan to do, make notes on the checklist. First, inspect. If you've only got an hour to spare, pick one exterior side of the house or one room inside to inspect. Note the date you did this on the checklist and flag items needing maintenance or repairs so you can schedule time or make a list for your handyman or handywoman. Second, maintain. Keep your home safe, such as smoke detector batteries. Keep your home energy efficient, like furnace air filters, and prolong the useful life of many home features, like caulking bathroom tile. Write it down when you complete a task. Keeps you from guessing later on. And third, update. Take advantage of improved materials and fixtures. Upgrade to new building codes and evaluate when it makes more sense to make an improvement rather than repair, such as replacing a bathroom floor rather than repairing the grout. Check out the book or give me a holler and I'll hook you up online to get the maintenance checklist for yourself. If you'd like to have the entire book, please go to livinggreenbook.com for a multitude of ways to purchase it for yourself. Thanks again. This is Marla, the Green Home Coach. Back on Everyday Green Home podcast with Christy, talking about this everyday green home. Mm-hmm. And it is, when it's finished, it's going to look just like the other homes in the neighborhood, but right now it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It looks like a Lego house, like Legos for adults.
Yeah. Y'all will see in the picture of the podcast picture for this episode that
some people
it's pretty fun.
Yeah, some people have asked if the Partridge Family moved in. So if that gives you all any sort of visuals for future anticipation.
I'd not heard that.
Oh, I love it. I'm like, give it to me, Partridge Family. I love it. Like the colors are like a kind of a soft sagey green, mustard yellow, perfect coral pink, and a blue with, of course, the Fox Blocks white.
It's lots of fun.
Yep.
So your parents decided to build a home some time ago.
Yes.
And y'all started down the decision path to figure out what that was going to look like.
Yes.
So what was driving that decision, and how did you end up with this?
Well, probably about 3 to 5 years ago, they thought, we're going to retire soon, so we'd like to live in a house that would give us, it's a forever home. And Mija, if you're not going to move anywhere, we'll move closer to where you are in Oklahoma City. And apparently our son's never coming back from New York, so we'll just kind of hunker down in Blanchard. So we found the perfect property. It's got tons of greenhouses or green trees, mature green trees.
Oh, it's a beautiful piece of property.
Yeah, so restoring those was a big important factor, in part of the process. But the structural of the build was kind of, we knew we'd always build a good structural home, but probably 5 years ago. No, 5 years ago, I really hadn't known anything about Fox blocks. I didn't know anything about ICF, period. And not just Fox blocks, just ICF as a build.
Right.
And then I remember seeing different hurricanes hit different coasts and stuff. And just, man, my heart just going out to those people who lost their houses or lost their structures, just lost everything from these winds and things. And then I remember how people in Oklahoma went through that as well when we had that horrible tornado come through. So beyond that, I was like, man, just, I don't really want to put my parents in a home. So we're going to make sure we have a storm shelter. Okay, great. That kind of put that. Well, then I saw Fox blocks. I met Alfonso, saw the product, and I immediately became, sign me up. What do I need to do? It looks like Legos. And I love Legos. So
y'all do.
On a kid level, I'm like a kid in a candy Lego store. I mean, I'm like a kid in a Lego store going, how many of these can I build? How many of these can I put out? And so then that made me go, okay, well, then I found the quality behind the home, found the structural behind the home. And then I saw that it was what was holding these houses up on the coast, holding these structures up on the coast. And I go, sold. Well, I'm sold on it. But we don't know numbers. So the process became okay, let's start budgeting. Let's figure out a budget. Let's figure out what these costs are going to be. Then let's kind of weigh the factors. Then let's move forward. And 2 to 3 years later, after finding out about Fox blocks, we went through legitimately 20 different floor plans. That was simply, I remember. I don't know that I would do that with any other client. Just if you have a plan, call me. I'm happy to talk to you about it. We can adjust something in that plan. But we won't go through 20 plus different plans.
Well, they are your parents.
Yeah. But so we went through a good amount of plans, went from second floor, first floor, and then kind of really truly started focusing in on what their needs were going to be. And their needs on aging in place, their needs on how much maintenance they wanted to work on their home, how much maintenance they didn't want to work, So we kind of started going through a bunch of other parade homes and other, just a bunch of homes that we were like, okay, what do we like about here? What do we like about there? How do we want to adopt all of this into this plan? And so from that, once we kind of had our list of structural needs, our list of lifestyle needs and pros and cons to those, we came up with, okay, we're going to build ICF. And it's been such a invigorating experience. And it's always construction, no matter if anyone's ever heard, it's a hurry up and wait sort of process.
Yep.
No matter where you are, whether you're hurry up and waiting for your plans or you're hurry up and waiting for your walls to go up or you're hurry up and waiting for your trim to finish or you're hurry up and waiting for the builder to just be done and you want to move in. It's just the whole process. So I like to talk about with any clients, whether it's a design project or a build project, the expectations of the project and then what we could possibly see. And I think once you kind of communicate all those things in a valuable way, processes are going to be fairly smooth.
Well, and process is key, right? Plan the work, work the plan.
And as Leonard Stark would say, because I'm such a DC nerd, I think it's Stark or Snark. He's kind of a villain good guy on The Flash. If you know anything about this.
I don't remember this one.
So you might not, because I have a 10-year-old and we like the movie Flash, but he would say, and prepare to go off the plan. Let the plan go to, just be prepared to adapt is what he meant by that. So.
Yeah. And with ICF, because it's these blocks, I mean, literally when the blocks went up, it was like stacking Lego blocks. But there's a pattern that they stack so that they're much stronger and airtight.
Yes.
So that was really fascinating to watch how the process, if you will, and the technology came together to make it even better.
Yeah. And the process within each area. So the process to make sure that the stem walls were of what they needed to be. Because your stem wall, your foundation is not as typical for just a 4 or 6 inch frame wall. Your stem wall, it's a 12 by, I mean, it's a wide.
Well, supporting a lot more weight.
It's a lot more weight, but it alone, and then so that process, and then running your rebar up through that so that when you are setting your blocks on top, that you have your structure from your ground is completely adhered and attached to properly to your walls. So then ultimately when you're building the floors and the walls, it's all one big solid piece.
So that rebar is what gives the walls additional structural stability.
Right.
And ties, like you said, it ties it all together so that the whole structure gets tied together.
Exactly. It pretty much just ties your floor into your walls.
Which is a big part of why these homes survive hurricanes, tornadoes, and high wind events much better than a traditionally built home that's built out of lumber.
Yeah, because their base, I mean, they're they're foundations, they're solid, they're in the ground, they're really and they're not just a couple,
monolithic. There's a term that comes to mind. I don't think that's absolutely correct, but.
Right, and there's monolithic, post-tension, there's all several different, terms, and you just kind of have to weigh the cost difference, because some people might want a post-tension foundation on an ICF home. They may feel it's just stronger structural for them. Others may feel like it's just overbuilding. And so and if the client doesn't feel like it's overbuilding, hey, let's do it what you feel comfortable with. But it's all education behind, or knowledge behind the education, so that you're informed on making a quality decision.
So based on the fact that we knew that quality and longevity, the ability for this building to last in an easy maintain way for your parents was really important. That was something you stressed to me very early on. And the fact that they wanted everything to work well. So I know as y'all were making decisions about this, those factors really were the first lens that you looked at everything through. And obviously there's a budget, because there is on every project. But it was really interesting in the early times when I first started hearing about the project from you, to hear how you would make the decisions through, or look at the choices through those lenses first, and then look at the budget to understand how important they were in relative consideration to other things. And I think a lot of us don't think about that in the building process.
Well, I don't think most people feel like they have that time.
Oh, that may be true, yeah.
Because that was a lot of time. And I like to say, if you're going to plan and you're going to plan right, be prepared to give yourself time. Don't try to over-rush it. And you can over-rush this process. And because there were times that I felt like, oh no, we need to make a decision. And when I thought about it, if I rush this decision, that's going to possibly put a bump in the road that I could have avoided had I just let the decision happen based on the knowledge we were given. When you're working in trying to get numbers and trying to get totals and people understand what you're getting, there's communication back and forth, not just with your client, but with the vendor, with the contractor, with the supplier. And not everybody has the time to drop what they're doing and work on your project that day. They may need a couple days to do their research and move and get their information because of the need for quality.
Yeah. So one of the things that I want to talk about when we come back from break is the charrette that you did.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you guys that don't know what a charrette is, go look it up while we're on break, and we'll be right back. 5 myths of green homes are 5 things that you probably believe about green homes that may be costing you thousands of dollars. Which myth do you hear the most? Get your copy of 5 Myths at greenhomecoach.com and click on the button for 5 Myths of Green Homes. You can also connect with me on Facebook at Green Home Coach and let me know the green home myth you hear the most. I'll also share tips, products, and resources. Be sure to download your copy of 5 Myths of Green Homes now, and then check back to learn more. Still here on the Everyday Green Home podcast with Christy, talking about this extremely cool Lego-looking house right now. But right before break, we teased everybody that with a word that many may not have heard, a charrette.
Yep.
And you did one of these.
I did. I brought in...
But tell us what it is first.
Oh my gosh, I don't know the actual definition of it, but I think
close enough.
It's basically bringing a group of people together to talk about a plan or an overall bigger picture. And
so like all your stakeholders that were in the project
Correct.
were in that meeting.
Yeah, and stakeholders being contractors that have to have their stuff certified and or inspected. Shareholders be the homeowners. Yeah. Stakeholders be me. Stakeholders be anyone and everyone that
has something to do or say in the house.
Pretty much. So
what, like a dozen of us in that meeting?
Yeah, there was, we had HVAC, plumbing, electrical, Foxbox,
green certification.
Yeah, we had several clients. We had a good 10, 12 people in there over lunch, and we just talked about the overall vision. We talked about the floor plan. We talked about were there any sort of people that needed to have special requirements because we were in ICF walls. We're, making sure that one didn't hit the other, that we were penetrating in certain spots for water for certain spots, and it wasn't going to hit with electrical, all those sort of things. So it was very insightful, and I think I'd love to do them for every project.
I think it set a great tone for this project because everyone that sat in that room it was all back to expectations.
Yeah, you could kind of talk about that. That's where I like to talk about. I took a business coaching class at one point in time, several years back, and one of the things is just expectations. Just let people know what your expectations are, and then you communicate whether they're doable or not doable, and then you can find a solution to what might be a challenge. I just loved having that information just because now I feel like I can communicate with contractors and clients and on another level of it's real. It's so much more real.
Right. I've only sat in a few of those. I love it when I'm able to work on a project where they are done. I think it brings just a whole new level of understanding, of willingness to work together, of team camaraderie to the project. So kudos.
Thanks.
So as we're sitting here with the nice cool wind blowing today, we can see the roof.
Yep.
But it's not, no ceiling yet, so we can see the roof.
No, we don't have any drywall in yet because we're still in rough-ins. I'm waiting on a few more windows to come in, but we still have electrical rough-in to go. But when we talk about the structural, what I like about our roof that we can see through and up in it is that you can actually, one thing about the roof, when we're talking about the whole structure as a whole, the roof has been able to currently give us protection, but it's also going to protect them in the future in ways such as insurance. When we talk about the planning, the process and everything, when we talk about selecting product for the house, things that go on the house, the brick, the rock, the stucco, the doors, the windows, everything that we're selecting, we have to consider selecting that it's going to work for us. Not we're picking because it's best budgeted price, but we're picking because it's got the longevity that we needed from the original wish list of.
And you put roofing shingles on this home that are a little different.
Yeah, these are a class 3. They're a Malarkey product.
What is class 3?
Class 3, class 4. Yeah, there's a couple classes. And from what I understand, they provide not only just several weather quality oriented, and I don't have the brochure in front of me to kind of give what the top of the lines, but what I enjoyed about the class 3 and class 4 is that it gives the homeowner an insurance assistance. And what I mean by that is not all insurances, so you have to make sure that you are researching your particular insurance company that you're going to use for your homeowner's insurance, but that they can give you a discount on your insurance as a whole because you're using a product that is helping keep the longevity and the maintenance of that roof more intact, and the warranty and everything else behind it. The engineering that went behind the product and everything is already, it's not only been approved and reviewed and certified, but insurance companies have reviewed, approved, and certified that it is helping.
Right. And I believe, if I remember correctly, that these are high wind and hail certified up to a certain amount. And I believe, if I remember correctly, that the amount, so for instance, how big a hail, how high a winds it will withstand is what helps to determine the insurance factor.
Yes, but not all shingles. So the shingles have to have a rating. They have to have that class 3 or class 4, and I don't think that there's any other ratings outside of those two.
No, that's my understanding as well.
Yeah, so again, this is our pilot, so when we get our insurance and everything, we have already reached out to the insurance company they're using. They do offer that, and so that's already something that we know will be taking place. So we just have to have all the right documents ready to give them.
So outside of the roof, good protection. We know we get good protection on the outside of the walls with the ICF blocks being on the outside because they are moisture protection as well as our insulation and our structure.
Yes, on the walls it cut out like 3 or 4 trades.
Yeah.
Or 3 or 4 just different steps. Maybe not 3 or 4 trades, but 3 or 4 different steps, which is to me
helpful.
I was a designer. I'm a designer and I love the design side of things, and the extra layers of need for an exterior part of home, they're just that much more important.
Yeah.
They're so much more important than your flooring. They're so much more important than...
You don't want to be redoing your structure.
Exactly. I've just seen it happen to people. I've had clients in the past where they bought a home and the home didn't quite stand up with them because certain weathers and things like that came through, and it wasn't a brand new home either. It was just a home that
So the structure of this house, because of the fact that it's ICF, has really simplified things. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to have like all the layers on a wall that you might with a traditionally built house made of lumber, right?
Right. I'll still hire the insulation guy because he has to insulate the ceiling and the attic, and the garage. So things like that will still, but the insulation in the walls didn't need to be done because the styrofoam or the Fox block,
exterior walls,
interior and exterior portion of that wall is already done.
And what will the insulation in the attic be?
That is our open cell.
The spray foam?
Yes, and it is, I think it's the Icing.
I know there were a couple that we looked at that were,
I feel like
that were certified, so they weren't off-gassing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's which one we landed on.
And what's really cool about what you're going to do is the spray foam will go on the bottom side of the roof decking.
Correct.
So this means that, because here in Oklahoma, many times our blower units for our heating and cooling units are in the attic. So by this being insulated on the roof deck, that's going to protect your unit, right?
Right.
That's a great idea.
Yep. And our unit is in the attic. It sits above the laundry room, which has been the most centralized of the attic space in the house. So our ducting runs were more minimized. Our ducting locations and all that, we kind of really tried to, with the HVAC, we got several manual J, manual D, manual S.
The load factor.
Yes, we got those calculations provided. So that was kind of helpful to know that we're doing everything efficiently.
Yeah. Since we're green certifying this house, they want to see those too. So
yes.
But that's one of the great things about the green certification process. It's your double checks to make sure that everything's done as optimally and as high quality as you can.
Yeah.
And
it's a third party check too.
Yes.
That's what I'm enjoying, is that it's not all, I want the responsibility. I don't want to relieve any responsibility of myself, but I also feel confident in my responsibilities when I have other certifications and or other people saying, well done, you guys followed that. The checks and balances.
Yeah.
Most people should
That's a good way to think about that.
Yeah, it's just I'm not trying to, I don't want people, when I say I don't have to have the responsibility, anyone to think that that's not what you want. I want the responsibility. I just want to have it confidently. That's it. So, who else would want to lack of confidence responsible? Seems weird.
Confidently responsible. Yeah. I think that needs to be a quote.
Make it. Let's do it. But yeah, so we've taken lots of thought and concern into the selections we did, like the windows and the roofing material, and even going into, once the structural part is selected, your garage door, it being insulated, and, all these different things, all these different areas, are being addressed properly, and whether it's your windows being Energy Star certified, or your light fixtures, or, your appliances. It's not just about the structural, it also goes on into the inside, but the inside you can kind of update here and there a bit easier.
Right, you can replace systems or appliances or rugs or floors.
Right.
But it is kind of hard to replace the structure.
Yes.
Which is why you want to get it right.
Yes.
Totally get that. Well, Christy, this has been so full of great information.
Are we already done?
We are.
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe that? So I also would urge our listeners to follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, sure. Instagram is CRH Design Build.
And you frequently post pictures of the house and the progress.
Yeah, definitely try to get that. I do stories. In the stories, you'll see more of kind of the action posts and things like I'm going to post today, me sweeping yesterday. Because I also like to keep the projects, the job sites clean.
And it is.
And they
very clean.
It's if I leave it for you clean, you better leave it for me clean.
Exactly. No, I love it. Well, and there's a few pictures and videos on the Green Home Coach Instagram and Facebook pages as well.
Facebook again is CRH Design Build, or Christy Howell. You can also go in there and link through that way.
And if y'all have questions about what the process has been, tag one of us on Instagram or Facebook, and we'd be happy to answer your questions.
Absolutely. Or if you're in the area and you want to come see the house and you've got questions on it, I am happy to meet you out here and give you a walkthrough.
Yeah, maybe easier than having an open house. with social distancing.
Yeah, it would be so cool to kind of do. Well, you can do virtual walkthroughs.
We'll see
we'll get one going.
See. Yeah, who knows? Time will tell. Well, we appreciate y'all joining us. I hope you will get a chance to subscribe if you haven't already. We'd love it if you leave a review. That helps us to get this podcast out to more people, the more reviews we get. So everybody out there, thanks again for listening in, and have a great green day.
Bye.
That wraps this episode of the Everyday Green Home Podcast. Ready to use what you learned? Get the show notes with all the resources mentioned in this episode. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening and for leaving a review. And remember that living a little better and greener is easier than you think.